Coming up on Citrus TV News, what happens after the I-81 decision is made? Citrus TV reporter Gabrielle Caracciolo is here with what the decision could cost Central New Yorkers.
And SU releases its university budget, how the new changes might help you.
And Labor Department job growth numbers are in. Did the U.S. recover from February's slow job growth? Citrus TV News starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
According to a Syracuse University official, a graduate student in the College of Arts and Sciences has died. Good evening. I'm Jack Watson.
And I'm Shama. In an email to students, SU Associate President Marianne Thompson says the student's name is Will Georges. As of right now, the cause of Georges' death is unknown. Thompson's
email reminds the SU community of the resources available, including the Counseling Center, which is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And new at 6 today, SU says it is setting a new record for student financial aid. The 2019-2020 budget allocated almost $280 million to help attract incoming students and help current students stay at the university. It's a 9% increase in support from last year's budget.
And you might see some traffic as you head to class next week, because starting on Monday, road work will begin on Comstock, Waverly, and South Krause Avenues. Syracuse contractors will repair sidewalks and add bike lanes and accessible ramps. SU says the work will affect parking, but it won't impact Mayfest or commencement weekend. The university also says everything should be finished by the end of July. And next Friday, the Syracuse University community will celebrate the 3rd annual One University Award Ceremony. The committee is awarding Tim Green with the Chancellor's Medal. Green graduated Syracuse in 1986 and in 1994. He is one of the most accomplished student athletes in SU history. The ceremony will be at Hendricks Chapel and starts at 4 p.m. that day.
And rev your engines, as Monster Jam is just 1 day away. Right now, workers are setting up the dirt track in the Carrier Dome for tomorrow. The event starts at 7, and tickets are still available to buy online. City workers say if you're not going to the event, to avoid driving near the dome, as traffic is expected before and after the event.
And a group of SU students studying abroad in London traveled to Lockerbie, Scotland, the site of the Pan Am 103 crash, where 35 SU students died nearly 30 years ago. Citrus TV reporter Isha Battu tells us about what students learned from their visit.
This past weekend, a group of SU London students came to Lockerbie, Scotland as part of the 2019 Lockerbie Ambassadorial Delegation. This program hopes to strengthen the Syracuse-Lockerbie relationship and enhance the abroad experience.
So it's been a privilege to be able to continue doing those trips. We very much hope to continue doing them in the future because we think it's such an incredible win-win for everyone from a learning and cultural exchange perspective.
On the first day of the trip, ambassadors engaged with students at the local school, Lockerbie Academy. Each year, SU sends 2 Lockerbie Academy students to the university for free as Lockerbie Scholars. The ambassadors ran workshops throughout the day regarding topics such as cultural differences, building model houses, fake news, career insight, and more. Students also got to tour various parts around Lockerbie in connection to the tragedy. One of these places, which is right behind me, is the field where the nose cone of the plane was found. Another site the group visited was the Garden of Remembrance, which serves as a memorial to the 270 lives lost. Ambassadors were moved not only by these emotional visits, but by many conversations with Lockerbie residents that provided insight into the Syracuse-Lockerbie relationship.
Just being able to discuss so many things with them, whether it's, their lives right now, their experiences at Syracuse, or even, their connections to the tragedy and how that's impacted them over the years, was so meaningful. And I think those were some of the most impactful conversations that I had all weekend.
Although much of the weekend was focused on the disaster and some of the town's dark history, Lockerbie residents want outsiders to know that their town is also one of love and community, not just tragedy. Reporting from Lockerbie, Scotland, Isha Battu, Citrus TV News.
And each year, the university mourns the lives lost in the crash during Remembrance Week. The 2019 Remembrance Week will take place from October 20th to the 26th.
Now, Jack, I don't know about you, but the weather was not nice today.
We got a little lucky earlier in the week with those consecutive sunny days, but now today, not so much luck. Hopefully there's good news on the horizon, though. Our weather anchor Carmella Boykin is with us now with the latest. Carmella?
Thank you, Jack. Like you guys said earlier today, it was definitely a bit dreary. We saw some rain. We even saw a few flurries giving us a special winter statement for slick roads. But now the flurries have gone and we're just left with some rain. 38 degrees is our current temperature, so dancing around the freezing point, but with 10-mile-per-hour winds, feels just a bit cooler than the actual 38. Tonight, temps actually start to warm up. We're going to have 39 degrees as our low, but as we progress throughout the night, temps are going to warm up. By tomorrow morning, we're expecting anywhere between 40 to 42 degrees. If we head back to my slide, we're also expecting anywhere between 10 to 15 mile per hour winds. So if you want to sport a fierce hair look, make sure you keep that in mind. Tomorrow, temps are going to continue to warm up. At 9 a.m., we'll be at 45. 3 p.m. will be at 54 degrees our high, and 6 p.m. 54 as well. That's all right now, but I'll tell you just how warm it's going to get next week in my full forecast after the break. Back to you guys.
We turn now to the final installment of our I-81 series. This week we've taken you through some of the main options available to reconstruct the interstate that crosses through Syracuse. CitrusTV reporter Gabrielle Caracciolo examines the economic impact and what will happen next with the impending decision.
The central New York community is eagerly awaiting a decision on what will be done with the deteriorating Interstate 81. And Syracuse workers and residents have plenty of opinions on what solution officials should eventually select. Many residents are worried about how this upcoming change will impact their everyday life.
My only concern is, how do I get to work?
Once the green light is given to begin construction, it could cause major delays for commuters.
Construction, first of all, is disruptive no matter what the solution is. And so the idea is 81 is going to be closed, you're going to have to loop traffic around or get people off and so on. So that there will be a disruption no matter what plan they go to. The natural question is, what's going to happen when they're all done?
You've got SU and all the hospitals right here in a clump, and that's an awful lot of people that have to get to work, and you've got hospitals that you've got to get ambulances to. So there's got to be a way to get everybody in here. It's just there's so many people packed into one tight little clump here. So
the Upstate University Health System, Syracuse University, and St. Joseph's Hospital are the top 3 employers in Syracuse. And while everyone can agree it's important to weigh all options, economist Don Dukowski says with businesses and scholars arguing for all different sides, there's one thing that everyone needs to remember.
This is not going to be cost-free. It's going to negatively impact some people. Either decision is going to negatively impact some people, but it's going to positively impact others.
Each option has a different price tag. The community grid will cost approximately $1.3 billion, the rebuild $1.7 billion, the tunnel between $3.2 and $4 billion, and the hybrid $4.5 billion. It's the New York State Department of Transportation and the Federal Highway Administration that will make that final decision, which many are hoping will happen as soon as possible.
I'm noticing the potholes and the rust and the holes in the concrete on the sides, and I'm like, I hope they decide what they're going to do pretty soon before this thing falls apart.
And Gabrielle joins us in the studio right now. So Gabrielle, it seems people are very passionate about this topic. They're eager for a decision to be made. What's the timeline on that decision?
Right, so right now the Department of Transportation is working on an environmental impact statement. And what that means is they're exploring the different options and the impact that each will have on the surrounding area. Right now we are in the 3rd step of that process. In August 2013, the process began with the notice of intent. Then between November 2013 and September 2014, the scoping process took place, and that leaves us now in the drafting of the environmental impact statement stage, which will be followed by a public review, a final statement, and then after all of that, an actual decision.
Wow, it's definitely a road ahead.
And that concludes our I-81 Crossroads series here. You can find the whole series on our website at CitrusTV.com.
And police say they have found a missing elderly couple from New Hampshire in upstate New York. Authorities say that they were found after a minor car crash. Before the crash, police say they were last seen on I-90 yesterday evening. Norman and Shirley Lapine are both in their late 70s and have dementia. Administrators at Jamesville DeWitt High School let students out early today because of an odd odor. School workers had students wait outside while the fire department looked into the odor. After that, they ordered students to go home for the rest of the day. There is no word on what the odor was at this time.
And about 100 people were out of their homes today after an apartment fire in New York City. Authorities say the flames hurt 23 people, including 19 firefighters. All of their injuries are non-life-threatening, and firefighters were still working to contain the fire this morning. It could be days before tenants can return to grab their belongings. And Democratic presidential candidates delivered speeches in New York today. The 4-day National Action Network convention started on Wednesday and acts as a platform for candidates to discuss current issues like health care and prison reform. Senators Kirsten Gillibrand, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and Kamala Harris each gave speeches. And back here in central New York, rapper Cardi B is set to perform in Syracuse next month. Tickets go on sale today for her May 25th concert. She will play at the Lakeview Amphitheater at 8 p.m. that day. The singer-songwriter is currently leading the 2019 Billboard Music Award nominations.
And coming up, President Trump is in Southern California one day after he threatened to shut down the border. Hear what he is calling the Mexican government to do in order to keep it open.
Plus, South Korea beats the United States in the battle to 5G smartphone networks. Find out how they got a leg up over the stores in the States. Citrus TV News will be right back.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah. Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver. The one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. The numbers are in, and the Labor Department says the U.S. added almost 200,000 jobs last month.
Yeah, that's right. Now, that rebound comes just after the job market suffered in February. Economists say they expect the steady growth to continue in the next month.
And potential presidential candidate Joe Biden spoke at his first public speech since allegations of inappropriate contact.
Biden joked about the allegations, saying he had permission to hug the person who introduced him on stage.
The former vice president apologized for a lack of understanding, but not for the actions themselves.
I'm sorry I didn't understand more. I'm not sorry for any of my intentions. I'm not sorry for anything that I have ever done. I've never been disrespectful intentionally to a man or a woman. That's not the reputation I had since I was in high school, for God's sake.
And President Trump landed in Southern California today to examine the security at the U.S.-Mexico border.
Trump threatened to shut down the border yesterday. Now he says he will give the Mexican government what he calls, quote, a one-year warning to fix the crisis.
The president is planning on visiting a 30-foot segment of the replacement border fencing that workers installed last year. He will also talk to a roundtable talk with local law enforcement to discuss the future of the border and how to increase security.
And President Trump says he will skip the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner for the third time in a row.
The annual black tie gathering of politicians and White House journalists is traditionally hosted by a comedian who roasts the president and other big names in politics.
Historian Ron Chernow will speak this year. Trump says he's holding a campaign rally instead of attending the dinner.
I'm going to hold a rally. Yeah, because the dinner is so boring and so negative.
that we're going to hold a very positive rally.
And as he nears the end of his prison sentence, former Congressman Anthony Weiner is being ordered to register as a sex offender.
That's right. A judge in New York City is naming Weiner a low-level sex offender. Weiner is serving a sentence for sending illicit photos to a 15-year-old girl.
Weiner is scheduled to be released from prison on May 14th.
And peaceful protests continue today in Algeria. Protesters are demanding that the allies of former President Abdelaziz Bouteflika resign and a true democracy be put in place.
Protests originally started over President Bouteflika running for a 5th term despite his failing health. Bouteflika has been the president since the end of the Algerian Civil War in 1999.
After a stroke in 2013, he disappeared from the public eye and his popularity amongst his staff began to decline.
And turning to the United Kingdom now, as the country asks the European Union for another Brexit extension.
British Prime Minister Theresa May wrote to the EU to ask the deadline to be moved from April 12th to June 30th.
With the current deadline sitting at a week from today, Parliament has yet to pass a deal to leave the EU.
And South Korea's cell phone carriers dropped new 5G smartphones for users to buy ahead of schedule.
Carriers say these phones are able to download data 20 times faster than 4G devices. The 5G networks were rolled out in South Korea hours before the Verizon stores in the U.S. could release it.
This made South Korean carriers the first to offer 5G services. And coming up, Citrus TV weather anchor Carmella Boykin will tell you if you need an umbrella this weekend or if it's time to break out the sunglasses. We'll be right back.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I had something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Looking at the temps across the state, they're a little bit varied today. Here in Syracuse, we're at 38 degrees. Coolest is north in Rome, where they're at 36, and warmest is over in Rochester, where they're resting at 35. Checking our future radar tonight, we're expecting pretty dry skies, but still overcast. As we can see, the rain we're experiencing right now is expected to make its way out, giving us overcast skies. And tonight, we're expecting a low of 39 degrees, a bit warmer than we saw today, and temps are expected to warm throughout the night. By tomorrow, we're expected to be anywhere around 42 degrees. Our high tomorrow will be 55 degrees, and we're going to have an overcast morning, but throughout the day, the clouds will gradually start to clear, and in the evening, we'll have partly cloudy skies. Checking our 5-day forecast, on Sunday, we're going to have cloudy skies, but a high of 67 degrees. That's near 70. That's pretty good for Syracuse. Monday, we're expecting April showers with a high of 66. Tuesday, cloudy skies, a bit cooler, and Wednesday, we'll conclude with Syracuse fashion, 44 degrees and mostly cloudy skies. And despite the spring weather, Colorado State University has released their predictions for this hurricane season. The research team says they're expecting a total of 13 named storms, 5 of which will become hurricanes and 2 will become major hurricanes. This report doesn't measure where storms will develop or how many will impact the U.S. Hurricane season lasts from June 1st to November 30th.
All right, Carmella, thank you. Rolling Stones frontman Mick Jagger is reportedly doing well after undergoing surgery for a heart valve replacement earlier this week. The 70-year-old singer was set to go on tour with the Rolling Stones, but had to be postponed after his doctors recommended he take a break. Jagger is expected to make a full recovery and will be back on the road soon.
And Bill Cosby is settling a defamation lawsuit with multiple women who publicly accused the comedian of sexual assault. 7 women accused Cosby of defamation in 2014. The suit was settled in Springfield, Massachusetts District Court. Cosby is currently serving a 3 to 10 year sentence for drugging and sexually assaulting a woman.
And coming up in sports, a few Syracuse lacrosse players get mid-season honors and some news for Syracuse men's basketball's future. That and more, stay tuned.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. It's gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation letter. You're resigning. Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you eat stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay, but remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Taking care of a family member can lead to plenty of questions. Fortunately, there's a place to get the answers, for them and for you. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Welcome back. I'm Brittany Ehrlich. Some breaking news in sports. Jesse Edwards has officially committed to Syracuse men's basketball. The 6'11" center from the Netherlands made the announcement on Instagram earlier today. Edwards currently attends IMG Academy in Florida. He arrived at IMG in January from the Netherlands, where he gained 10 pounds. Edwards is the 5th player to the 2019 class to commit to Syracuse. And Syracuse men's lacrosse gets the weekend off after a dominating performance against Hobart on Tuesday. The Orange retain the Krause-Simmons Trophy after burying the Statesmen 17-5. Goalie Drake Porter made 16 saves, tying his career high. Hobart came into the game as the nation's 2nd highest scoring offense. Well, that didn't stop the Orange, who kept the Statesmen scoreless for the last 38 minutes of the game. SU returns to action on Tuesday against Cornell. It's senior day in the Carrier Dome, and after losing to the Big Red last season, Coach John Desko spoke about if there was any thought about revenge.
Right now, I think we're just refocusing more on who they are. We obviously have a little more time to prepare for them, not playing on Saturday or Sunday this week. So, maybe with the guys, but I haven't heard a lot of the revenge stuff. It's first we have to know who they are.
Speaking of Senior Day, Syracuse Lacrosse announced on Twitter today that they will be wearing a special helmet for the game on Tuesday. Now, it's different than the one they normally wear because it's a lighter blue and features a throwback S logo and script Syracuse on the back. The throwback S logo was used from 1989 to 2000, and the script was from the late 80s to the early 90s. Today, Inside Lacrosse announced the mid-season All-Americans. 4 Orange players made the list, starting with sophomore Brendan Curry on the 2nd team with 12 goals. Redshirt junior Nick Mellon made the 3rd All-American team. Syracuse also had 2 honorable mentions on the list with junior Peter Dirth and sophomore Brett Kennedy. Thanks to the strong performances from these 4 players, Syracuse is also ranked at number 11 according to Inside Lacrosse. Syracuse women's lacrosse also receiving some love on the midseason All-Americans list with 3 Oranges. Emily Harris-Chuck made the 1st team with 51 goals on the season. On the second team, defenseman Sarah Cooper made the list. And to top it off, Nicole Levy made the third team with 27 goals on the season. SU is currently ranked third in the country inside lacrosse and is on a 7th-game winning streak. The Orange only have 2 losses on the entire season. And after back-to-back losses, Syracuse tennis bounced back today with a win over Pittsburgh 4-2. The Panthers took an early lead, clinching the double point for just their 7th ACC point this season, their first in doubles. Senior Gabrielle Knutson sat out singles for the first time this season to rest her forearm. The Orange won the first set on each singles match. Libby Mesh, Sofia Golovsky, Miranda Ramirez, Dina Hagab each won their singles matches to clinch the duel. And just as Carmella said, it's raining pretty hard out there, causing the Syracuse Mets to postpone its game today against the Pawtucket Red Sox. The game is now set to be a doubleheader tomorrow at 12:05 p.m. The second game will start approximately 30 minutes after Game 1 ends. Tickets for today's game can be redeemed for any future Syracuse Mets home game this season.
Now, Brittany, while the Syracuse Orange men's lacrosse team are getting new helmets, as I understand it down there in East Rutherford, New Jersey, the New York Jets are getting entirely new uniforms.
Yeah, they announced it yesterday. They had a big celebration. They brought out all the players, Sam Darnold, a bunch of the big names, and personally, I think it's a good thing. As Sam Darnold said, you know, if they win, you're going to love the jerseys. If they lose, you're going to hate them. And the black one's pretty cool. It's different for the Jets.
All right, so moving to SU basketball, what's going to happen with these new prospects?
Well, someone to definitely look out for next year is Joe Girard. He's locally from central or upstate New York, and he's a scorer, which is something Syracuse really needs. They need a guy that has heart and can take charge, so hopefully the future's bright for Syracuse.
And that's all the time we have. Thank you.
Coming up, we'll have one last look at your local weather.
That in 90 seconds.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. We bring in our weather anchor, Carmella Boykin, one more time. Now, Carmella, just tell me a little bit about these temperatures these next couple of days. What's going to be like?
Well, today it was definitely cool, and we even had a winter storm, advisory this morning. But now, for the rest of the couple of days, it's going to be warm up. Thank goodness.
And Carmella, is this rain going to be sticking around, or can we hope for some relief soon?
Well, you know what they say about April showers. Throughout the rest of the couple days, we are going to see lots of clouds, lots of precipitation. On Saturday, we're not going to see rain, but we will see 55 degrees as our high. Sunday, overcast skies and a warm temperature of 67 degrees. Monday, April showers, like I said, with a high of 66.
All right, Carmella, thank you. That's unfortunately all the time we have tonight. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Citrus TV News. I'm Jack Watson.
And I'm Elijah Shama. Have a great evening, Syracuse.